I am Marie Brown, and on my channel, Minds in Motion, we talk about personal finances, investing, and how to become the best version of ourselves. And I love to talk about mindset and philosophies because I believe that once you change how you think about something, everything else is easy peasy, a piece of cake. So today I want to talk about the relevance of dividends and investing. On YouTube, since I joined the dividend investing community, I've noticed that there are a lot of mixed emotions and feelings and opinions around dividend investing. There are those that think that capital gains, value investing, and growth investing is better, and then there are those like myself that just enjoy and love the benefits of dividend investing. Even though we are all entitled to our opinions and we are all entitled to our own style of investing, for whatever reasons we choose to take that style of investing, it doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, make one person's way of investing right and another person's way of investing wrong. As long as it works for you, you reach the goal that you want to reach, and you're accomplishing the financial independence or freedom, or you're gaining the wealth that you set out to gain, I feel like go for what works best for you. I do want to show a quick clip before we get into the video where Ben Felix, another YouTuber, talks about the irrelevance of dividend investing. And this is just to show that everybody's entitled to their opinion and everybody can have facts to prove why one way of investing works better than another, or why one way of investing gives you more of a positive result than another.
Whenever I make a video or write an article about the irrelevance of dividends, the dividend crowd is quick to respond and defend their love of dividends. The problem for dividend investors in this dialogue is that there is no basis at all whatsoever to have a preference for dividends. Showing me dividend stocks with great past returns is not basis. Most of the arguments from dividend lovers end up being focused on the ability to select individual stocks, which is not something that most people can do consistently. Even in a stock-picking environment, there is no reason to believe that dividends, or the growth of dividends, would be an indication of a good stock to own. I'm Ben Felix, Portfolio Manager at PWL Capital. In this episode of Common Sense Investing, I'm going to tell you, again, why dividends are irrelevant.
So there you have it. Again, there are a lot of different opinions around whether or not dividend investing is a good thing or if it even matters in that case. But a lot of people believe that aren't in the dividend investing community that when you solely focus on dividend investing, you're missing out on a lot of other great stocks. I think that you can be a dividend investor and you can also be a growth and value investor at the same time. The first thing that I want to discuss in this video is some theories around dividend investing. So the first theory that I want to talk about is the bird in hand theory. The bird in hand theory is one that says investors prefer dividends from stock investing to potential capital gains because of the inherent uncertainty associated with capital gains. Based on the adage, a bird in hand is worth two birds in a bush. The bird in hand theory states that investors prefer the certainty of dividend payments to the possibility of substantially higher future capital gains. Investors who subscribe to the bird in hand theory believe that dividends are more certain than capital gains. And if you look at someone's channel such as Ben Felix, he might beg to differ when it comes to the bird in hand theory. Now, there is also, similar to what Ben Felix said, the dividend irrelevance theory. The dividend irrelevance theory is a theory that investors do not need to concern themselves with a company's dividend policies since they have the option to sell a portion of their portfolio of equities if they want cash. The dividend irrelevance theory indicates that a company's declaration and payment of dividends should have little to no impact on the stock's price. If this theory holds true, it would mean that dividends do not add value to a company's stock price. Yet, studies show that stocks that do pay a dividend often increase in price by the amount of the dividend as the book closure date approaches, and then that same stock price usually drops again once the amount of the dividend payment is paid out. So this example can conflict with the dividend irrelevant theory. However, one last thing, capital gains investing represents a certain type of investor. So investors chase capital gain because there is a possibility that those gains may be large, but in its equal possibility that capital gains may be non-existent or worse, negative. So I think that a lot of people prefer dividend investing because there is a certainty around dividend payments. And you can invest in growth or value companies that do also pay dividends. And I think that you can invest in both dividend income stocks and then also growth or value stocks at the same time. Who's to say that you can only be one or the other? Hey, it's just my opinion. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is signs that a company's management has shareholders' best interests at heart. And those signs are usually based around dividends. So, a long dividend history. Companies with a long history of increasing dividends are a sign of a recession-proof business model. And I'm pretty sure there are other ways to assess a company as recession-proof. However, a dividend investor like me knows that when a company has a long history of paying dividends, then it's usually a sign of a recession-proof business model. You can also find these companies by researching Dividend Kings, which are stocks with 50 years of consecutive dividend increases, Dividend Aristocrats, which are stocks with a 25 plus years of consecutive dividend increases. Then there is the Dividend Achievers, which are stocks with a 10-year plus consecutive dividend increase. And then there are the blue chip stocks that have 3% dividend yield, and they've been around in 100 years of existence. So those are just some other ways to find some good dividend companies. Now, let's talk about why I invest in dividend stocks. And this may be, let's just say that this may be familiar amongst other dividend investors. So the first reason that I invest in dividend stocks is for the passive income. I am looking for other ways of creating streams of income, but with dividend investing, you are able to buy passive income through dividend investing. Another reason why I invest in dividend stocks is as an investment strategy and, in my opinion, buying established companies with a history of good dividends adds stability to my portfolio. So again, some people may disagree with that, but that's just my opinion in reference to why I like to buy dividend stocks and why I am a dividend investor. Number 3 is dividends are a cushion for declines in the actual stock prices, but also offers an opportunity for stock prices to appreciate, join with the stable stream of income from those dividends. So if you look at my Webull cash flow portfolio, just in this week alone, my returns is about 8.96%, and that is with the appreciation of stocks along with the dividend payments. So like I said, you can do both dividend value and growth investing all at the same time. I don't think that you should have to do just one or another. So number 4 says stocks that pay dividends are a critical part of the total investment return of an asset. And last but not least, investing legends such as John Bogle, Warren Buffett, and Ben Graham advocate for buying stocks that pay dividend. So those are just my 5 reasons for investing in dividend stocks. If you have any other reasons that you enjoy investing in dividend stocks, please leave a comment below. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit that notification bell so that you can see when I post other videos such as these, or videos that I post on just how to be better in your budgeting and financing. And also, I love posting videos on how to take control of our mind and thoughts and other things that we want to accomplish in life. So I want to talk about some high dividend stocks. This list was created on suredividend.com, and this list is updated monthly. So the 10 highest dividend yielding stocks with dividend risk score of a C or better, and with a dividend yield of 5% and between 5 and 10% are listed in order by the dividend yield from the lowest to the highest. Now, the first thing that I want to say is definitely this is not financial advice. This is just things that I look at when I'm looking for dividend stocks to invest in. The number one rule that I would say that any dividend investor will tell you is do not invest into a dividend stock based on the yield alone. Even though this is a list of the highest yielding dividend stocks, if you watch other dividend investors, you'll see that a lot of them do invest in other stocks like this, but not just because of the high dividend yield, but also because of the business model and the research that they've done into these companies are why they are investing in these companies that happen to have a high dividend yield. So coming in at number 10 is Enbridge Inc. It has a 6.5% dividend yield. It's in the oil and gas industries, and it's out of Canada. Number 9 is Gladstone Commercial Corp. A lot of dividend investors have this stock in their portfolio. It has a dividend yield of 6.6%. It is a REIT specializing in single tenant, multiple tenant, and office leasing. Then there is the Intra Pipeline Ltd. It has a 6.8% dividend yield, and it's an energy infrastructure company based out of Canada. Next is British American Tobacco, BTI. And as a disclaimer, I am long in BTI in my Robinhood portfolio. It has a dividend yield of 7.1%. It is a tobacco-based product out of the UK. They make cigarettes such as Lucky Strike, Cool, and Benson & Hedges. Next is Altria Group, ticker symbol MO, with a yield of 7.7%. It is also a tobacco company, and these are what you consider to be sin stocks. They make things such as Marlboro and non-smokable brands such as Skoal and Copenhagen. So I'm pretty sure that you guys have heard of these products that these sin stocks produce, but they are also high yield dividend payers. And then next we have Micro Focus International, ticker symbol MFGP. It has an 8.6% global dividend yield, and it is a global enterprise software corporation. Next is another one that a lot of dividend investors like to have in their dividend portfolio, and that is Energy Transfer LP, ticker symbol ET. It has a yield of 8.8%, and it is a MLP. In this business, it is the business of storage and transportation of oil and gas. Next is Gladstone Capital. It is also a part of Gladstone Commercial Corp. Ticker symbol for this one is GLAD. It has an 8.9% dividend yield. It is a BDC investing in debt and equity infrastructures. And next is also a very popular dividend investing stock, which is Tanger Factory Outlets, ticker symbol SKT. It has a 9% dividend yield. It is a REIT, and it owns and operates in both the U.S. and Canada. and they own about 400 different outlets with over 500 different tenants. And then last but not least is Imperial Brands. It is also a SIN stock, ticker symbol IMVBY. It has a dividend yield of 9.3%. It is also in the tobacco industry. They make cigarettes. They've been around since 1901, and they make cigarettes such as Winston's. They also make rolling papers, tobacco, and cigars, along with a lot of other products. So again, you should always do your own research before investing in any stock, but please, please, please do not invest in these stocks just because they're high dividend yield. Do your research, have a good reason, and know the business of these companies before you decide to invest in them. And I'm going to leave in the description a link to all these articles so that you could go back and read these articles yourself and do your own research as well. Now, last but not least, myself personally, I diversify by adding growth and value stock ETFs to my portfolio. Some of those ETFs that you can look at for yourself if you solely only invested in dividends, or if you're considering adding other stocks to your portfolio, or if you're just new to investing and you're not really familiar with picking stocks at all, you might want to start with some ETFs. Some that you can start by looking at is the iShares S&P 500 Value ETF, ticker symbol IVE, Vanguard Value ETF, ticker symbol VTV, And then there is the iShares S&P 500 Growth ETF, ticker symbol IVW, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but it's iShares S&P 500 Growth ETF. And then the last one is the Vanguard Growth Index Fund ETF, and the ticker symbol for that one is VUG. So that's all I have for you today. Again, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment in the video any suggestions that you have for great ETFs, great dividend stocks, or why you only invest in dividend stocks. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button on the channel. It does help out a YouTuber like myself grow the channel and get noticed on YouTube. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Tomorrow's Monday, so make sure you have a great week. Thank you so much, guys.